Assalamu alaikum Nazreen. Welcome to another episode of Sheffield Warriors YouTube channel. It's continuing coverage of World T20 from US and West Indies. और आज मेरे साथ मेरे बड़े अच्छे दोस्त फरक भाई हैं जिनसे आप पहले भी मिल चुके हैं in a preview of the World T20 when he came in a few weeks back. So I'd like to welcome him again, and we're going to talk a little bit about what's happened in this World T20, especially from a US perspective. So welcome back, Farrukh bhai.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for calling me back.
Okay, so it's been a very interesting few weeks. The World Cup has begun after all that preview hype, and we've had every team play all their matches. They had four groups, 20 teams, most ever in World T20, and some very notable performances from some of the associate members. And one of the things that did stand out was performance of USA, the host nation.
Mhm,
जैसे
mhm.
आप कह रहे थे कि some of these grounds are untested. We don't know what the venues are. So we'll talk about that. But how
Yeah.
did you see the US performance so far?
I- They played with heart. You have to give them credit. They didn't give up easy. Against Canada, they chased down almost 200. Against Pakistan, they won in super over. अभी कल जो मैच हुआ है, they uh, chased down well. They lost by 18 runs, but they did scared South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
और उससे पहले और गेम्स भी अगर आप देखें, नेपाल डिड वेल,
Mm.
अफगानिस्तान इज इन सुपर 8.
Yeah,
Apart from all these things, Sri Lanka, New Zealand, and Pakistan, all three are out of the tournament,
yeah.
right? New
So
Zealand.
yeah, I mean, the associate nations have really come in this World Cup. Nepal की आपने बात की, USA, and some of the other teams that also made good fights. Namibia put on Namibia and Oman put an entertaining match as well, and they came in with whatever they had and performed. So USA का एक और भी था कि I mean against India also they played very well for quite some time, gave them a good fight. Uh, Ireland वाला मैच बारिश हो गई थी, लेकिन I was quite convinced कि अगर बारिश ना होती फ्लोरिडा में तो USA would have beaten Ireland. So,
The way Ireland is playing, I am pretty sure US would have defeated them.
but they got that one point and they went into the Super 8. They're now in the Super 8 and they played a great match yesterday against South Africa, entertained the crowd.
Mhm,
Harmeet Singh and this batsman called Ghosh, he's so
mhm.
good. At that time, he was actually the leading run scorer as well with his innings. They put on a
Right.
very good stand.
Mhm.
Or even though South Africa had started very well, USA got wickets and their bowlers did not. And I was impressed by their fielding. Uh,
They-
they performed really well there.
Right. And good thing that I see with these associate nations is they're putting out a heart. As you said, with their whatever limited resources, most of them are working somewhere else, and this is just their hobby.
Mm.
They're putting up a fight. They're putting up an entertainment game, like Canada defeated Ireland.
Mhm.
All these things that you see that you need to see as an
Mm.
observer. Am I seeing an entertaining game? Regardless whom you support,
Mhm.
am I seeing an entertainment? You don't want to pay and then you go in and you see a lackluster interest or a performance from the team that you are supporting or watching, right?
बिल्कुल. So पिछली बार आपसे वेन्यूज के बारे में काफी तफसीली बात की थी. I think that was really informative and helpful. You talked a lot about Dallas, where the first game was in US, and Canada started off an interesting uh, game as well, very high scoring game जिसका आपने जिक्र किया. USA, and then this very interesting hybrid venue in New York, जिसके बारे में there was a lot of speculation and a lot of games were played there in the preliminary round before the Super 8. बल्कि एक दो ग्रुप्स तो exclusively वही हुए हैं, इंडिया के सारे मैचेस वही हुए हैं. How do you see the New York pitch? There's a lot of talk in media that it's come under a lot of criticism.
No, for me, as I mentioned to you earlier as well, for me, it was a sporting wicket.
Mhm.
People who are used to seeing 200, 260 in IPL being chased down, For me, it was a sporting wicket. If you use your little bit of brain, I think with all these bash bash cricket, bang bang cricket,
Mm-hmm.
people have lost their senses to have a classic cricket of
Mm-hmm.
knocking ball around and keep scoring, get used to the wicket and then score. It
Mm-hmm.
was a sporting wicket. Yes, it was a difficult wicket to bat on,
Mm-hmm.
as we saw, like even chasing 100 runs was a difficult task over there.
Mm-hmm.
So if you bat sensibly, you could easily score, right?
Yeah.
And I think what highest score was 137 by Canada against Ireland
Mm-hmm.
on that pitch. So you can tell that if you score around 140, 150, that's a winning score over there. And if you want to chase, you have to bat sensibly. I thought that chasing teams were not batting sensibly, that if you know that the wicket is a bit difficult, you don't have to score six boundaries in 1 over, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was a sporting wicket. You just have to calculate it better. I think
Yeah.
calculation went wrong for the team. It
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
um, and uh, sorry, go ahead.
So, I mean, what it did provide the difference in दो टीमों में काफी कम difference हो जाता था तो even के margins became quite reduced. So that made the low scoring matches quite entertaining in New York, which
Right.
is good because the associate members were also giving up a fight as much as they could. And bowling came into play a lot more, which is unlike what we see usually in the
Right.
uh, more traditional kind of what's become T20 now, in which, like you say, it's a bang bang game. So that was really good. The other thing was I know this has been different in terms of the Florida rain that people have been talking about. So
Mhm.
बारिश बहुत हुई है, लेकिन I think it's rainy season. So it was quite irritating to a lot of people and press. Uh,
This is where I feel organizer had to do their things properly. New York was a good venue. There's
yeah.
a lot of people over there. It's easy to access from Canada. People can cross border, be there and watch the game.
Mm-hmm.
Florida is something that is prone to hurricanes during this season, right?
Mm-hmm.
So instead of there, why not California? Why not spend a little bit of money and get something in California? We don't get any rain. Like we
Yeah.
are done with rain in like maximum in April,
Yeah.
right? So come June, we have sunshine like all day long. So why
Yeah.
not? And this is where I question organizers that you have to, if you're providing something, why don't you think of these things, right? And especially at my work, we were discussing about this El Nino and uncertainty and hurricanes back in January.
Mm-hmm.
So even as an organizer, did you do your homework with these guys that, oh, we will have a hurricane season in
Uh,
Florida this, so why? And this is where I feel organizers went wrong, and
okay.
they have to assess weather more accurately than
Yeah.
just like that.
So I think where I'm seeing from a host point of view, USA being the host, they came into their first tournament,
Mm-hmm.
and they came into the Super 8. They're going to play three very good teams in the Super 8.
Mm-hmm.
एक already खेल रही है साउथ अफ्रीका के साथ, कल वेस्ट इंडीज के साथ मैच है, then they left play England as well. Regardless of that, 2026 की क्वालिफिकेशन पक्की है उनकी नेक्स्ट T20 का जो वर्ल्ड कप होगा.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 years after that, Los Angeles is hosting the Olympics. And I mean, this is kind of, is this kind of what you see the USA will be progressing? Because I think there's quite a good scope from what talent we've seen from the US.
Well,
Even though they're part-time cricketers, they've really performed very well.
yeah, but I'm not sure if you're aware, the US is also investing in a lot of cricketers from India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh who are not
Yeah,
selected national team, like from
yeah,
Pakistan, Sami Aslam,
yeah,
Hamad,
yeah,
from India, one of their previous captain is
yeah,
there. Anderson from New Zealand, he broke
yeah,
Shahid Afridi's record of fastest 100.
yeah.
He's playing. So there is a lot of that is happening, right? And
Hmm.
I feel that's why it is making them a little bit stronger.
Mm-hmm.
By 2026, all these guys I named, they will be qualified to play for US, right?
Hmm.
Sami Aslam, Ahmad Azam,
Yes. Yeah, yeah,
uh, these guys. So when they are qualified to play for, then they will have some sort of experience in their team, right?
yeah.
So I think their progression is there. So they may do well, but they have to attract families, and this is where my biggest criticism came in.
Mm-hmm.
That why do I have to pay $60 for a T20 game, where in Australia we paid $20 for a
Mm-hmm.
double-header game and watch both games. So if you
Yeah,
want to attract families, a family of four can watch in $60, they can watch like two games and enjoy,
mm,
have a picnic there, right? So create that environment. Not everything can become like commercialism
yeah,
and like, expensive and all those things. So
yeah.
this is just my
Basically,
as a fan criticism I have. Other than
yeah.
that, from cricketing perspective, I think they're progressing well, and I'm hopeful that they will do well.
ओके, तो इसी के साथ आपसे इजाज़त लेते हैं, क्योंकि आई मीन वैसे तो बहुत मज़ा आ रहा है लेकिन वक्त कम है शो का, लेकिन इट्स बीन अ ग्रेट प्लेजर हैविंग यू बैक अगेन ऑन द शो, एंड इंशाल्लाह वील कीप अप विद यू एज we see towards the climax of this World T20 towards the end of the June.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the invite.
ओके, थैंक यू। और नाजरीन, इसके साथ ही आज का प्रोग्राम ख़त्म होता है। इंशाल्लाह फिर आपके साथ फिर हाजिर होंगे, तब तक के लिए अपना ख्याल रखिएगा। अल्लाह हाफिज़।